What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Garrett Morley, and here in the studio with me is the magnificent.
Keep going.
The hairy.
Huh?
The stanky. I don't know. I felt like I went too grand on the first adjective that I had to
I was
balance it out there.
really picking it up when you were saying magnificent. I was like, go on.
I went too hard. That's why I balanced it with those other two negative things.
No, I don't think you went hard enough. Magnificent, am I? Yeah.
Well.
Am I hairy? Well, yeah. Stinky some days. When it's over 100, yes.
Yeah, every day then.
Inevitably. Folks, I am his other host, or co-host, however you want to call it. The host with the most, the toast of the coast. I am JJ Purdom.
Yes, you are.
I mean, there is no other me's. Trust me, I Googled it.
No other JJs.
I've Googled it. There are no other me's.
Have you ever just Googled yourself?
Yeah, I used to have to do it in high school a lot until I got married.
Why is that?
Just think about it.
Okay.
It was a euphemism. It was a double entendre. I was trying to pretend like when I say Google myself.
Yep. I got that.
Okay.
I got that.
All right, sometimes you got to lay a joke out and just kind of let it breathe. You know what I mean?
I got it.
Okay.
Especially once I realized Google wasn't a thing when you were alive, when you were born.
Oh, that hurts.
I was like, oh, he's not talking about the Googles.
we used to be able to search things out on the World Wide Web. They just didn't have Google.
Right.
But if you wanted to know anything,
Jeeves.
Yeah, no, they didn't have that either. It was always go on the World Wide Web and search the information superhighway. That's legitimate. That's
so crazy.
Yeah, no, that's how they do it. You'd have like little computer class, and I remember like that was the perfect class for us to go outside, roll doobies. Do you even know what a doobie is?
I know what a doobie is, yeah.
Okay. What's a doobie, Garrett?
A roach.
Here you are talking pest control. You say you don't like it, this stuff.
No, Googling yourself is always scary. You just never know what's going to show up. And, yeah, it's definitely an adventure. I think I did it. I don't know. The last time I did it was, I don't know, about a year or so ago. Now you just scroll through stuff. You're like, oh, man, like, that's still on the internet. Like it's amazing. Like the pictures that show up and like, the post from like old, like, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or
MySpace,
or I never had a MySpace. I was around.
So young.
No, all my cousins did. I was not allowed to have one.
Oh, okay.
My parents thought it was the devil.
They were right. It was the devil.
So it didn't mean I didn't have a secret one.
For shame, Garrett.
But obviously, I could never check it because I was at home and I couldn't do it.
I'm kind of sad to say I had a MySpace, and I remember at the time, this is pre-Facebook, it was a big deal to have a MySpace.
Oh yeah.
And you would pick your top 8 friends.
Yeah, your
and
friends.
And so you would like, dude, it was
a playlist all set up right for your page. It's all about the background. Like cool
the background was cool. You had to set up like your own background. I remember at the time when I made mine, I tried to make mine like space oriented. So it was a lot of like Jupiter and like stars and stuff like that. And eventually, like most people's MySpaces, you forget your password to get in, and then you cannot get back into this thing. I'm totally disconnected from it. I have gone on to MySpace probably a year ago or something.
Yeah,
that I still have a MySpace.
I just typed it in now.
I can't get in there.
I can't believe it's an actual thing still. I didn't realize it was still around. I'm going to sign up.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's more music.
It says join MySpace. Getting in is easy. Log in with your Facebook or Twitter. It's like, what's the point of MySpace when I have to sign in with my... okay. Well, never mind. I'm not going to sign up for that. Yeah.
See, now you don't have to hide it, though. If you had yourself a MySpace, there's no reason. You're a grown man.
I'm a grown man.
And even though MySpace still is the devil, your mom and dad know best. You could Did you have
AOL Instant Messenger back in the day?
I had friends that had AOL Instant Messenger, but here's the problem.
Doo-doo-doo.
They would say, hey, man, we can instant message on, and I'm like, okay, whatever that is. And they would like type out little messages. They would always go really fast and be typing out a whole lot of stuff. I type with one finger.
Okay.
At one time. So I can only do so many taps.
Right.
And they're like having huge conversations, and I'm like, hold on. The
Yeah, AOL was always the best. That we used a lot. My parents were okay with that. I had AOL, which seems even worse. Like on MySpace, you could only really, you could see other people's pages, but if you set it to private, you could only really see your friends' pages and they could only see yours. With AOL, they had like the chat rooms where you could just jump into a chat room with who knows who else and talk about whatever, like who knows what you're talking about or what like you're gonna see in there. Is it's like they were okay with that, but not okay.
The
with
Super
the
Gamer
MySpace.
Boys talking about the beginning of the internet. I remember like having chat rooms. I always been into pro wrestling, always been a big fan, and then of course I did a lot of stuff in the pro wrestling business. I remember going on to pro wrestling forums and talking with others.
Oh, you hear that?
What's that? Are you come back? Hey. Oh, that would happen when you'd leave AOL. That's right. I remember that.
It's all the sound effects from AOL.
That's
Messenger.
pretty cheesy.
I could watch this video all day. It literally just cycles through all the sound effects from AOL.
Yeah, but that's what you would do is if you were interested in a topic. For me, it was wrestling. I would go on and talk wrestling with other people because nobody else I knew liked wrestling. So I can go on there in a chat room and be like, oh my gosh, did you guys truly watch Monday Night Raw? That was insane. And this was... What?
You're such a nerd.
Oh, yeah. I was painting my figurines from my World of Warhammer and my craft of Final Fantasy. Or whatever
that's
I'm
art.
not a nerd.
That's art, JJ.
Oh, come on.
I'm an artist.
Folks, in case you're wondering, you're listening to the Super Gamer Boys. We're all about video games and professional wrestling.
Mostly this video game right here.
Apparently, occasionally Metal Gear Solid talk.
I just made a new addition to the collection. A couple weeks ago, I had gotten Metal Gear Solid 1, the first one, off of eBay for really cheap. And I found it Metal Gear Solid 2 for PS2 in actually really good condition. The case is like, you can tell it's like old, but it's not like ripped up or anything. All the booklets are still in good condition. They're
stuck together. All of the pages are stuck together, reminiscent of high school.
No, not so much. Guess how much this cost me?
This could be money right here, buddy. This is a relic of the past. Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 2, I would have very easily spent $20, $30 maybe.
That's how much they normally go for.
Oh, shut up. No, they're not.
Yeah, no, that's totally how much they go for. $20, $30.
$1 at a yard sale.
Not true. That's how much they normally go for, but I only paid $5.
That's 5 different yard sales. You could have gotten one.
This is not true.
I'm pretty sure.
People charge a lot for Metal Gear games. I don't know why. I don't know why. Like the first one, they were going for, at least when I was looking on eBay, like quite a few of the listings are like $40, $50 for some of them. It's crazy. Obviously, like some of them are like, if you find it still like in the wrapper and stuff, those ones go for like hundreds of dollars.
It's also a big deal when you have the booklet. I know that's a big selling point.
And all the booklets are in good condition. Like we've never, like I flipped through those. I'm like, oh, this looks about like what our booklet looked like. It didn't look like a dog got a hold of it or something.
Yeah. So I'm looking at it right now here in the studio. This case actually does look really cool. And I'll tell you what, PlayStation 2 was awesome. They had so many great games.
So many good games.
And I think you could probably get a PlayStation 2 for pretty cheap now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm really, now that I'm starting this collection of the older Metal Gear games, I really want to pick up a PS2 because you can get them fairly cheap. Like I'm looking at GameStop right here. You can get one for depending on what model you get. Here's a refurbished one for $100, but it's 20% off. Apparently, or something. So I don't know why it doesn't just add the discount. So for $80 you can get it.
You see how quickly he did math right there, folks? That's because Garrett Morlang is a math genius. He's a whiz.
That's what they call me, Garrett, the math whiz.
That's not what they call you. I'd really rather. But I can't say because our show is PG-13. I can't really say what they actually call you. You'd bleep it out anyway.
Yeah. I definitely will.
You know what you wouldn't have to refurbish? You know what you wouldn't have to pay $50 or $100 for an arm and a leg unless you really wanted to? Supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, this podcast never gets old, never wears out, never has to be refurbished.
No, it's constantly recycling old jokes and great material.
And if it ever does, just kill me. Like, you have full permission if this episode, if this show ever gets old and needs to be renewed for a new season with new hosts, just kill me.
I've been wanting to double tap you for so long, dude. You have no clue.
That makes me feel good. But no, thank you so much to our Patreon. What's this say here? I can't read this page.
Our Patreon supporters.
Yeah, those guys. Over at patreon.com/supergamerboys, they supported us for different amounts of money every month.
And
that's how it works.
They are all right now sitting there shaking their head,
So it begins. The downfall of Super Gamer Boys.
This is when it really went down to.
This is R.I.P. Garrett. No, but shout out to all of our supporters. You guys are all awesome. You can see their names in the show notes. I know I don't announce that often. I don't say that often, but if you guys read the dang descriptions I write every week, you would know. And then, so you can go over there, support us monthly. It helps keep the mics on, keep the lights on, and keeps the content just rolling out of that oven hot, like one of those Domino's pizza ovens.
Mm-hmm.
I do pest control services at a lot of the Domino's in the area now. Because they're all
careful.
They're all owned by the same dude, and so we got a sweet account with them, and that's I love going there and just watching the pizza oven. It's pretty slick, that thing. It's just they stick in one end. It's like a giant conveyor belt. This goes through, and by the time it comes out the other side, it's done.
See,
so it's like a couple minutes, and it's done.
You know why they don't give me that account? Because I would stand there while the pizza's going in one and just stare at it. Like, just wide-eyed staring at it. And then, literally, I would let tears roll down my cheeks as, young employees walk by. And I'd be like, man, how do you guys do this all day long?
I would eat every pizza.
That's like a thing of beauty. This is just gorgeous. Oh, my God. I would never go home. Just make them feel all weird.
I have been so tempted to... 100% turn to one of them and be like, can I take one of these home? Can I have a free one? What if I accidentally knock one on the floor? Can I take that home with me? Oh man, it's so hard to go in there and not buy pizza. I love pizza so much.
Sometimes I do things just to entertain myself, have a podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
And I did one of your Domino's locations. I won't tell you which one. I'm surprised you've never came to me and said anything, but I actually went in there and it was just two kids that were in there working.
Yeah, they're all staffed by
it's all
kids,
just young
10-year-olds.
Yeah, 11, 12, whatever. You can never ask them their age. That's rude.
No.
But it was just a couple of young people that were in there. And when I came in, they said, "Hey, you're here for pest control," and I pretended to be Russian, and I did that the whole time. I just never let loose, and it was so funny to watch their reactions. I didn't go way over the top. I just kept it real low key. I really didn't tell you about that.
No, I never did. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I just was making myself laugh.
Yeah.
I just walked in and they were like, "Here, you do pest control? This is what I have the can for me, huh?" And they were like, "Okay." "Don't leak baseboard. It's not good." And they were just laughing to themselves. And I'm going around spraying and, doing little things like these. Yeah, it was great.
That's awesome.
I'm really surprised you never heard about it.
You never told me that.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to support our podcasting habits,
or if you want Domino's pizza,
or if you want us to buy some more Domino's pizza, which we've never done. I don't know why. Whenever we record, why don't we have a pizza in here?
We should
be a thing.
Everything is better than pizza.
You can go support us over at Patreon. It helps us out so much. Shout out to our Patreon producer, Matt Liu. He's killing it each and every month. Without him, and as well as our Patreon sponsor, Bill Bird, we would be nothing. They are our Patreon overlords.
They constantly tell us what to say and what to think.
Yeah.
and how to dress.
This is all completely scripted. It's very similar to the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Extremely scripted. Everybody can see everything coming from a mile away.
If you played the game, you'd understand when I'm
stagnant.
I don't want to spoil the game for you. That's the only teaser you're getting.
I don't want you to spoil the game for me either.
Yeah.
Are we going to play this sometime?
As soon as I get a PS2, we're definitely going to figure out a Let's Play where we play through the entire, or maybe we'll just stream for like 5 hours straight until you beat the game.
I can never beat a game in 5 hours. I don't care.
I'll help a little bit. I'll help a little.
I don't care how small the game is. You know, speaking of that, you know, we were just recently put up our first large YouTube sensation that's rocking the nation.
Yeah.
Where you and I played on the Switch Super Mario Maker 2 or Mario Maker 2, the, what was it? 1-1 with a twist. We put that up on our YouTube
the impossible
channel.
Level.
That's what they say. They being like everyone.
Yeah.
Says that.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch us lose our minds, go over to Super Gamer Boys Talk. Super Gamer Boys, I can't talk. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm getting all dried up over here. supergamerboys.com/YouTube.
He just had a little bit of a seizure. So if you guys can, if you haven't already, it would really help if you go and watch that video on YouTube.
Like it.
Please like it.
Subscribe
Subscribe and hit that bell to get those notifications.
Ding, ding.
It would really help us out. I mean, we're looking to take over the world, and we're doing it a little bit at a time.
Yep.
So
first podcast, next YouTube. After that, maybe we'll just go to TV. We'll do a TV show.
And then we're going to run in 2024, president and vice president.
Moreland Purdom.
I was going to say the other way.
No.
I was going to say the other way. I'm the elder statesman, and you're not old enough to be president.
I have the looks.
You are a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
But you're not old enough to be president. 35. Boom.
I mean,
I was right again.
Give me 10 years. Give me 10 years.
We're not ready to wait. We're going to hit on it while it's hot.
First, we have to take over YouTube, and then we have to do Twitch, and then we have to do our TV show. It's going to be at least 10 years before we're running for president.
We already put one video out on YouTube. We are almost there.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, what do you say?
Oh, he's cracking open a Coors Light. Nice.
I got to get my goof juice going.
Right on. You're growing up.
That's what I call my LaCroix that I'm drinking.
Yeah, it's LaCroix.
It's just LaCroix.
But I like how you try to play it up like, I'm having a cool one.
I'm not going to lie. That sounded really good in my headphones. That was some serious ASMR right there. Like I got really turned on. I'm not going to lie.
No, I'm going to edit that out. I'm going to edit that part out.
I hope my parents don't listen to this.
They don't. They don't.
What do you say we get into the nerdy nudes?
It's time for the nerdy nudes. My son told me recently, literally today, hey, Dad, that's creepy when you say nudes. Don't do that.
That's awesome.
I said, I have to, son. It's part of my show.
Yeah, that's what we get paid to do.
Yes. We get paid?
Yeah, by Patreon supporters.
Okay.
How else do you think I support my Metal Gear Solid addiction?
Is that what's happening? I'm noticing like these games are rolling in. I'm like, wait.
Every week he comes in, I have a new one on the desk here. He's like, today he came in, he's like, what's up with that? What's up with all the Metal Gear stuff? I'm like, just another.
I ran out of gas here, and I told you like that I ran out of gas on the way to the studio, and you said you better get to hiking. I mean, dude, I'm kind of hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it's serious business here. Showbiz, man. Okay, this first news story. So it was like right after we recorded. I mean, it happened the day of recording, but it was one of those things where it was just so last minute. Us recording, we didn't have time to put it in the show, and unfortunately, there's a lot of big news. So a lot of this stuff happened like Monday, the day of recording. Like it could have been last week's episode, but we did not have the time. So this is gonna be a packed episode, which is not good because we're 20 minutes in and we're just starting.
Okay, so we're going to probably shorten up some of this stuff, and we're not going to allow Garrett to just talk endlessly.
Even though I just got my goof juice, I'm going to have to rein it in. First news here. PlayStation has bought Sony. That's not what it says. Man, I can't talk.
PlayStation bought Sony? Oh, my goodness.
I need some more of this. Hang on.
Wait a second. Sony owns PlayStation. Garrett, I think you've got your news confused.
Okay, PlayStation has bought Spider-Man developer Insomniac Games. That's what I meant to say. So it was huge news last night. PlayStation put out a tweet. Big news, Insomniac Games is joining the PlayStation's worldwide studios. We are honored and thrilled to join forces with this legendary developer. Please join us in congratulating our friends and partners at Insomniac. So this is one of those things that no one was really like necessarily surprised, because I actually heard somewhere else, I'd read some articles like, oh, this is actually something Sony has tried to do many times and they've just never struck the right deal. But it finally happened. It's official now. It's finally went through. So everyone is obviously stoked out of their minds. Insomniac, you may know them for the Ratchet and Clank games, the Resistance games, Spyro back in the day. And let's see, what's the most recent games they've done? Nothing really. Stormland, Seedling. I mean, Spider-Man. That's a big game.
That's the big one.
That's a big game.
but honestly, every one of the games that you're saying right now are all winners, Garrett. Ratchet and Clank,
they make
Spyro, and Spider-Man. I mean, come on.
And
Spider-Man was amazing.
What's interesting is like, I just thought it was interesting. Like, yeah, Sony bought them, but looking at their history here, they've pretty much always been PlayStation exclusive anyways. Like basically from 1996 to 2012, they were only on PlayStation. In 2012, it was an iOS game that came out for iPhones. And then the next year, 2013, they had an Xbox 360 game. But for, what's that? It's almost 12, 13, 14 years or something, more than that. They were exclusive to Sony anyway, so it's like, oh, this was inevitable. They've always been Sony, very close to Sony. Like, why not just join them and get all that sweet cash backing them up to make huge games like Spider-Man. Like Sony backed them on Spider-Man, and look at the huge success that was. Like that game sold like gangbusters.
I'd like to see them working on a sequel, and I think that given how many...
Did you beat Spider-Man?
I haven't yet.
Okay, then you need to beat it.
Okay. Well, since you said...
Because without like spoiling how it ends, I guess I will say, like, yeah, they do definitely set it up. Like, obviously they want to make money, so they do set it up to make a sequel.
Okay,
like
well, I don't have any reason to play now. Good job, Garrett.
I didn't tell you how they do it.
Pretty much killed it. Good job.
That could literally mean anything.
Yeah, it very well could be anything. You're like, they're leaving it open, wink, wink.
Yeah. Man, in the United States, Spider-Man sold 3.3 million units. That's just the U.S. That's insane. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That's a lot of video games. And if you consider that pretty much 1 million of those people had to loan it to goofy friends like me. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, you know what? You were the one who borrowed that game from somebody else.
I borrowed it from a friend, and you wanted to borrow it from me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing a double trade there. Like,
and then I just, dude, that would have been awesome.
Like, here, yeah, you can borrow it. And then my friend's like, where'd it go?
That earns you an immediate spot in hell when you do something like that.
I bet. But no, they are joining the ranks of like Naughty Dog. Why can't I just went blank on Sony exclusive Sony Worldwide Studios.
You'll have to forgive Garrett this week, folks. He's got Swiss cheese brain. The poor guy's been working in the 100+ heat every single day. He's battling a Coke addiction.
Okay, here we are. So Guerrilla Games, known for Horizon Zero Dawn and the Killzone series. 989 Studios, they make sports games, and was closed. I don't know why it's listed there then. Zipper Interactive, they made SOCOM back in the day. Let's just do the big ones. Media Molecule, they made Little Big Planet. And I believe they're the ones working on Dreams. Sucker Punch, they made Sly Cooper series and the Infamous series. Naughty Dog is one. I already mentioned that. They did like Crash Bandicoot and Uncharted. There's
Last of Us.
Last of Us. Polyphony, they do the Gran Turismo Racing series. So these are the kind of like the big, huge names in gaming today, and that are part of like Sony here, and they're right up there joining the ranks. Insomniac is, so I'm excited.
And you can see that the teeter-totter of all of the developers that are going with Sony versus going with Microsoft is really heavily weighted in Sony's favor.
Okay.
At all of these grade A games, man. These games like The Last of Us and the Uncharted series and now the Spider-Man. It goes back to all those exclusives.
Here's the deal, though. Microsoft in the last like 2 years has purchased a lot of new studios. Like they've announced, let me see if I can find some. Sony, I think, owns way more studios. I mean, not Sony. Xbox owns way more studios than Sony does. Maybe they have 343 Industries, who does Halo, the Coalition, who does Gears of War, Compulsion, The Initiative, An X-File, Minecraft, Ninja Theory, Obsidian, Playground, Rare, Turn 10, Undead Labs, Xbox Global Publishing Group, and then this is an old article. Like this doesn't even have the new ones that they announced this year at E3. Like they had like a ton more that they bought this year. So Xbox actually has way more studios that they all make incredible games. They're just not making the games. Like Obsidian, they made Fallout New Vegas back in the day, and they're doing the new Outer Worlds. Mm-hmm. 343 does Halo. Undead Labs at State of Decay. Turn 10 does Forza. Rare does Sea of Thieves, but like back in the day, they were known for was it Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. Yeah, there's like, they have like huge names that are part of Microsoft, and they're just not doing anything. But yeah, this is interesting. We'll see how that changes with the new Xbox, I guess. Hopefully they start actually kicking their butts and doing some stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I got a buddy who is constantly pushing on me to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, me too.
And you know who I'm talking about, Brian. Brian Bernard is a good listener, a friend of ours, and he is constantly trying to push the Xbox One. Man, you just got to get that Xbox One, bro.
I feel like a lot of our listeners are huge Xbox fans. I don't know why they listen to our podcast because we're like so hardcore Sony.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I hear, like through messages and text and on our Discord, which is supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join us there if you want to make fun of me and my love for PlayStation, basically. Like it just got brought up the other day, like, hey, like you don't, you guys are like it's super Sony ponies, but if you could play an Xbox, like, is there any Xbox games that you feel like you're missing out on and stuff? But basically, we just get made fun of.
That actually was Brian that brought that up.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great question that got brought up on the Discord, because there are some games that we don't get an opportunity to play, like the Halo games and the Gears games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Sony still is better. I'm just saying, sorry.
Yeah. As far as, so here's the deal. I know we bash on Xbox a lot. Xbox isn't necessarily a bad console or a bad company or anything like that. But when I play video game, I love video games for the story. I'm a single player gamer. If I was never allowed to play a multiplayer game again in my life, I'd be totally happy. Like I'm fine playing by myself. And Sony kills that. Like if I was an online player, I would totally go for Xbox. They have the better infrastructure and better in every way for the multiplayer aspect. I think they kill it. But that's just not what I enjoy. I way more enjoy playing single player stories, and Xbox just does not have the single player story to back up their console.
You say that, but because you pooped on my point earlier, I'd love to poop on your point right now. You really got down on playing some Apex Legends over the last 6 months. You really got into the idea of being able to play online with your friends. Like that was a big portion of it.
But that's rare that happens. Mm-hmm. And if I was super hardcore into Apex and that's all I played, I totally would switch to an Xbox probably. I mean, granted, I have friends on PlayStation that play Apex Legends, but I also have a lot of friends on Xbox. I mean, I'm on both consoles, Sony, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Oh, I wasn't aware that Apex was on Xbox.
It's on everything, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on PC, PS4, Xbox One, yeah. So that's the only... Like, if I was just a multiplayer guy, I'd totally have an Xbox. But I don't like multiplayer. I'd rather play good games.
There's so many bro gamers going to be mad at you right now.
That's fine. I'll redeem myself later, trust me. in the what you playing section. Next news story here. Just real quick. Sean Layden, I believe, is who they interviewed. This comes from Digital Trends over here by Sean Petit. Sean Layden, who is the head of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, came out in an interview saying, "We must support the PlayStation platform. That is non-negotiable," Layden said in an interview with Bloomberg. That said, you will see in the future some titles coming out of my collection of studios which may need to lean into a wider installed base. Bloomberg's reporting made it clear that Layden was speaking mainly about games with an online multiplayer focus. This makes sense, of course, especially as crossplay. Basically, what he's talking about is, because I didn't read the headline there. I don't think I did. There might be Sony exclusive games that start coming to PC.
Very cool.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And we kind of touched a little bit on it because there's rumors of Death Stranding coming to PC a couple weeks ago. That still has not been substantiated, whether it's true or not. But my stance is still like, obviously, like, if we can keep it on Sony, like on PlayStation, that'd be great. Like, obviously, like, build the brand, build the console. Like, let's keep PlayStation. But all that means is just more money for Sony. Because even though it's going to PC, like, it's still published by Sony and it owns PlayStation, and that goes right back into PlayStation's pocket. So it's like, it just means more money for them. So I'm totally cool with it. Like, whatever, as long as it never goes to the Xbox. I would never want that.
See, I don't know how serious you are about that, but I'll tell you honestly,
I only say that because I just don't think that would ever happen. I don't actually, like, I'm not that nefarious, so I'm like, screw you, Xbox. I don't want you to get any of our games. I don't think Xbox at that point, even if Sony already has their head up their butt about stuff like that. Like, I don't think Sony would ever do that. But if even Sony was like, hey, Xbox, would you want The Last of Us? I think Xbox would be like, heck no. You've treated us like garbage for years. We don't want your stuff. Like, I think Xbox would totally come out and do that.
I don't agree. I think that we're seeing right now them kind of working together in a couple of different ways. They had the joint letter that they all put out about the tariffs.
That's different. That's completely different. Because that's not just a gaming thing. That's like our economy could crash.
Also, Xbox had the right idea in the xCloud stuff as far as like their software that they developed, and PlayStation had announced that they were going to be using that same software that Xbox had come up with. In all of their, so I mean, do you know what I'm talking about?
But those deals, yes. But remember, those articles were PlayStation did not know that was happening. That was a deal with Sony. It was Sony and Microsoft, not Xbox and PlayStation. Mm-hmm. It was on a very high level. Because I remember that was the big news. Is like people were like at PlayStation and at Xbox were like, what? Like they saw the news story and didn't know it was happening, kind of thing. But
I could see a future, though. What I'm saying is, like, you're saying, like, as far as the exclusives, I love the idea that our stuff is exclusive to PlayStation. I'm a big PlayStation fan. That's what I play. But I can see a world where every game is on every console, and it's just up to you what you enjoy, whether it's Xbox.
That'll never happen because
I know, but let me live in my dream world.
Then it wouldn't make sense to have different consoles. If everything's everywhere, then what's the sense?
There's going to be a point when Xbox is no longer around, and it's just going to be the xCloud stuff, everything digital. And as far as systems, you're just doing it on your phone. That's what I think the future is eventually going to be. So
but it'll be something where PlayStation will have their own and Xbox will have their own, and we're going to have our games
have their own
theirs.
digital things.
Yeah.
See, I see that there could possibly be. I keep saying this again and again, but possibly Game Pass on PlayStation eventually.
No,
they could make so much more money because there's more people on PlayStation. Why not open up their library to everybody? They're not making any money on the consoles they sell anyway. That's just not happening.
No, that'll never happen because in that case that'll never happen because Sony doesn't want that to happen. Sony doesn't want PlayStation or Xbox. PlayStation doesn't want Xbox to succeed because it's their competitor. And you'll never see games like exclusive games go into cross-platform because then what's the point? Like, Why buy an Xbox when I could just get the PlayStation? Why buy the PlayStation when I could just get the, like, it's all the same thing. At that point, I might as well flip a coin, like, because it's the same box. So I think they still have to have the games. That's the only thing that differentiates them. At least, I mean, at this point, what differentiates the consoles is definitely power. Like, that's what a lot of people say, like the Xbox One X is the most powerful console. But I'm sure, like, once it gets to that digital future, there has to be something differentiating them, which in that case would be the games library. That's the only, otherwise one of them has to go away.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't believe that PlayStation wants Xbox to fail. I think that they want them and they need them as competition because competition breeds ingenuity and it causes you to push forward. When you don't have competition, you get complacency.
Right. No, I didn't. I said that kind of like very adamantly. That wasn't exactly what I meant. The way it came out of my mouth. I know I said that. No, they definitely like. They obviously want to. What I should have said is they want to beat Xbox. They don't want them to fail,
of course.
But they want to beat Xbox. Obviously, they want to be number one.
And they obviously are, and they are beating them. So I mean,
So yeah, well, that's that news. They could start coming to PC. There wasn't really any other news other than that you might start seeing PlayStation exclusive games on PC. Which, hey, more money for Sony. Bring it on. The next one is really sad news. It came out last week that several, and this is just an initial report. I wasn't able to find the news for the other one. Maybe I can Google it while we're talking about it here. But several Game Informer staff was laid off to reduce cost for GameStop. So GameStop, your brick and mortar video game store that you go to in the mall, they are the parent company over, or whoever owns GameStop also owns Game Informer. And so that's like when you sign up for a GameStop Pro membership, you get the free subscription to the Game Informer for a year or whatever, as long as your Pro membership is.
Which I love. I read mine every month.
I love the Game Informer. It always has incredible editorials in it. The writers are amazing. The editors are amazing. The photos and all the reviews and everything they do, it's top notch. They do a killer job. And it came out. It was revealed on Twitter initially. So Game Informer didn't come out and do a statement. GameStop didn't do a statement. All of a sudden, it was like people who actually work at Game Informer were like, "Well, I showed up at work, got called into a room, and I have like 15 minutes to leave," kind of thing, or whatever. Like I'm done. Like I'm out of here. I'm fired. There's even one guy. There's one guy who lives in San Francisco. So obviously the main Game Informer office is in Minnesota. So he wasn't in the office, but he's like, "Yeah, I just got a call, and I don't have a job anymore." And it was all like top, like big editors. It wasn't just like random little like small staff here and there. It was like some heavy duty, like major kind of pieces over there at Game Informer.
It's extremely sad when anybody loses a job, but they cut a lot of stuff back in order to be able to, as a cost cutting measure, to save the magazine and to ultimately save GameStop, because there's also people at GameStop that were let go as well.
I just found it in the article here. So more than 120 corporate staff were also let go. And the reason this is happening is we haven't really necessarily followed it in our podcast here, but over the last couple of years, GameStop is just slowly declining in value. Like they're practically disappearing. Like I'm reading right here, after its stock prices dipped below $4 earlier this month, the company continued to show signs that it's desperately trying to find a foothold in the retail market. The stock closed at $3.42 on Tuesday. GameStop is down 74% since the start of this year. So in 8 months, they're down 74%.
So
like they're like, it's getting to the point where people are like, are they even going to survive until next Christmas when the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet come out? Like, will they even be around at that point? Like, could they still even exist in another year or two?
I would say probably not as we know them. Brick and mortar stores like that are falling by the wayside. A lot of people are buying digital. A lot of people are buying the games elsewhere or online. Amazon, eBay, buying it from Walmart. It's a shame because I love GameStop and Game
me too.
Informer. You don't want to see anybody have to lose their jobs. There's a lot of people that just lost their jobs. But let's not make GameStop the bad guy. A lot of people are making GameStop the bad guy for cost cutting and for cutting all these people from their jobs. They're trying to stop all of the blood flow that's happening and trying to sustain it. But ultimately, I don't think GameStop is going to exist the way that we know it.
Yeah, no, it's like, GameStop is like on the operating table, like, and they've flatlined, and they're just doing everything they can to like bring the heartbeat back to life at this point. Like they're bleeding out, and they're just like, okay, how in the world do we keep this thing living here? Like they're trying everything. They're firing people. They shut down a bunch of stores like earlier this year, like hundreds of stores. They've been like earlier in the year they actually let go a bunch of managers. So this is the second round of firings. This bunch happened at the beginning of the year, more just this last week. It's been insane. Do
you actually go to GameStop?
Yeah, I there's actually a lot of them in Modesto, like almost like every street corner, I feel like. So I love to just go and walk through. I rarely buy anything, only because I don't buy a lot of video games because I'm poor. But I love going in there and checking out their stuff. And when I do, like, I'll try to buy a game, especially if they're used games. They usually have like a really good used game sales that go on, like buy one get one free or buy two get one free or something like that.
Great deals on used controllers, like refurbished controllers, refurbished systems they have there. I love GameStop. I have
That's where you got your 360 from.
I have
Granted, you got that for free because of the Black Friday deal.
I have a great relationship with the guys that work over at the GameStop. I only go in there maybe once a month or once every couple of months, but those guys know me by name.
That's the best part.
When I come in, and they start laughing the moment I walk in there. And like the employees always introduce me to the new employees. Oh, you got to meet this guy. And I don't know why, but they always do that. And you know what? That makes me feel really good. I feel like I have a relationship with those guys.
Yeah.
And I would hate for any of those guys to lose their jobs. I've had other friends that work at GameStop that have told me some of the practices for how they do split shifts. And they're like, hey, I need you to come in and work 3 hours and go home. Stuff that is not legal, but it's things that they're getting away with in order to try to save money. Hey, I'm only gonna have you on 20 hours this week, and then cutting it down to 16. Hey, you know what? Go ahead and go home for the day. We're too slow.
Yeah.
But I drove an hour to get here. Lots of that kind of stuff. So it's a sad state of affairs. You hate to see anybody lose their jobs. And I'd really hate to lose my Game Informer because I like it.
I know, right?
But you also got to recognize that print media in that fashion with magazines is fairly dead.
It's already kind of pretty much dead
and
in a lot of ways.
I was a big magazine fan growing up. Absolutely loved stopping to the magazine racks. I just loved it.
I remember back in the day, like when I was, I don't know, like 10 years old, 9 years old, getting Game Informers, or back then we had Game Pro, or we had
Nintendo Power.
I never really got into Nintendo Power.
That was a little before your time.
Well, no, they had them around. I just was never a Nintendo kid as a kid. Like I was a Sony guy from the beginning, basically. We had, the Super Nintendo, and we had the GameCube and stuff like that. But I was definitely more of like a hardcore gamer. I don't want this dang Nintendo cartoon BS.
That's for kids. Right?
Yeah, but Electronic Gaming Monthly, EGM, like those three were so good. Well, they used to have a PlayStation magazine back in the day. That was always one of my favorites because it came with a demo disc for the PlayStation. But yeah, nowadays, like Game Informer and PC Gamer, I think, are pretty much the only two gaming magazines in the U.S. at least. Like I can't think of any other video game magazines that are still around in the U.S. Game Pro, I don't think exists, and EGM, I think, disappeared a while back as well.
So with them surviving now with a lot less people, they're still going to have to do the same amount of work. And you know what? The quality of the magazine is going to suffer because there's no way to take a bunch of the writers, a bunch of the editors from the staff, and then still expect the exact same content. So where does it go? Does it stay the same size? Do they make it a little smaller?
I wonder if they start moving towards, because they already have if you go to their website, a lot of the articles are on their website, as well as they do like breaking news stuff. So I wonder if they're going to move more towards like an IGN type thing and just do online editorial and articles instead of their print, which is sad because I don't know, there's something about holding a magazine in your hand and like flipping through those pages and seeing it physically in front of you. But
sitting on the pot, having something to flip through.
Right. That might be, that the way things are going, that might be what they have to do. I mean, unless GameStop completely goes under, then they're just not going to exist anymore.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So our thoughts go out to all you guys who lost your jobs. Hopefully you'll land on your feet. I know one guy, Imran Khan, I think his name was, he got picked up by Kind of Funny.
That's right. I heard about that.
So he's going to be a new co-host for the Kind of Funny Games Daily and Kind of Funny Gamescast. So that's pretty cool.
Good on you. Kind of funny that you guys jumped on that guy so quickly. They grabbed
that guy as pretty sweet.
And he had been there before. I think he had guest hosted. Yeah.
And so now he's going to come on like part-time doing hosting and stuff. And I think he's still doing freelance writing, but this is really cool. Like some of these, like, whenever something like this happens in the video game industry, I think that's the coolest part about the video game industry is even as much as everyone like may fight and bicker online and hate each other, like as soon as something bad like this happens, immediately everyone's like, okay, let me hey, to the people it happens to, like, okay, hey, I'm open, I need a job. And immediately like people are like, hey, send me your resume. Hey, send me your information. Hey, I got to hook up here. Like they hook them up so quickly. It's so amazing.
So would you be like trying to help me out if I were to, need a job or something? I mean, are you going to put the word in for me and try to help me? Hey, hook me up, buddy, or put your neck out there for me?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
You give me a reference?
We'll see.
I don't feel very positive about that, Garrett.
All right. The next one here, we're just going to hit this article real quick. We really won't even talk about it much. I more just want to actually tell you guys about it because I want you guys all to go read it. If you are in any way even a little bit interested in what the heck like Death Stranding could be about, which I know we are because we've talked about it like every week. I think it's been the last 3 weeks we've talked about Death Stranding.
We keep watching all these great trailers and gameplay, and we're all like, what the heck? What?
So at Gamescom this last week, obviously we talked about last episode where they revealed 3 new little trailers and videos and segments and stuff. We talked about all those last episode. Well, what they didn't say is that they had done, or later in the week they did, behind closed doors previews to people, to like press and stuff like that. So this article, I want all of you guys to go read it, go find it. It's on Games Radar. So if you Googled like Games Radar, Death Stranding, Josh West, it's written by Josh West over there. It's called I Have Seen Death Stranding at Gamescom, and I finally understand what's going on. And it's a really good read. It's pretty detailed. Like there's a lot there to read, but once I finish it, I'm like, oh, like this game actually makes sense now. Like it's actually sounds like a game.
I'd be interested. I would think that they would have had to sign like non-disclosure agreements. So I wonder if he's like
no.
Going
so
outside of the box.
A lot of times with those press events, you can talk about stuff, but you're not allowed to like film or take pictures. Which I actually Googled around a little bit, and I did find a video that someone took of it. So I did get to see the secret trailer that wasn't supposed to be revealed.
Oh, wow. And you're holding out on me, Garrett?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't show it to you. But yeah, it's really crappy quality. It's taken on someone's cell phone while it's in their pocket, obviously. But you're going to kind of see the screen, and it's...
Hey, are you filming in your pocket? No, I was
I'm just really...
I was just touching myself. Yeah, sorry about that. I got excited. Hideo Kojima, gosh, he made Metal Gear Solid, Oh, that would be if it was you, huh?
Jeez. But yeah, so the gist of the game is, there is like a main boiled down, like, oh, this is what the actual story is. And so go give that a read. I highly recommend that. Games Radar. an article by Josh West called "I have seen Death Stranding at Gamescom and I finally understand what's going on." So even just read the first couple paragraphs, it'll kind of like, oh, okay, this makes sense. The next one, Spider-Man out of the MCU after Disney and Sony failed to reach a deal. So this article that I have here comes from Polygon. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is no longer in the MCU because their original deal had him signed up for, I think, two solo movies and 3 like cameos in movies or whatever, and that was fulfilled with Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home. He was in Civil War, he was in Infinity War, and he was in Endgame. So that was his 5-movie deal done. So they went back to the table to renegotiate, and Disney originally, I guess, was only getting their current terms was Marvel was receiving a range of 5% of the first dollar gross. So they were getting, so Marvel was not making very much money off the whole Spider-Man thing. Apparently Disney proposed a 50-50 split. Like, hey, like, we've been doing a lot of the work here. You guys own the IP and stuff, but we've been doing a lot of heavy lifting. Can we do a 50-50? And Sony's like, no, let's not. And so, yeah, that was the end of the deal. Apparently, there's talks that they're still obviously like in discussion. They're still discussing like behind the scenes and stuff. I'm sure it's not completely over. But as far as we know at this point, as of last week, Spider-Man is now a 100% Sony property, and any Spider-Man movies that come out after this will not have any part of the MCU. So people have actually talked about, is Spider-Man going to show up in the Venom movie? Like, because there's going to be a Venom 2 coming out, directed by Andy Serkis. Or will he show up in the, like, let's see, there's other movies that Sony's talked about making, like Black Cat. There's a Silver Sable movie they've talked about, a Morbius, the Living Vampire movie, Kraven the Hunter, Silk, Jack, like all these villains that are Spider-Man villains. There's talks that maybe he'll actually show up in some of those movies. Because like I know we never saw Venom because it was a terrible movie. But
was it a terrible movie? If you've never seen it, how do you know it was a terrible movie?
Okay.
It had Bane in it.
How much do you think it has on Rotten Tomatoes?
I have no idea. Oh, no. Okay. That's actually good. Having no clue, if I were just to guess, I would guess it's probably because I didn't hear anything positive about it. I didn't hear anything negative about it either. But because I heard nothing positive,
I heard a lot of negative.
Let's say rotten at 48.
It is rotten at 29%.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, basically a giant heap of garbage.
What do the people have it at?
It made the audience score is actually 80%. That's interesting because even any of my friends and other people who've watched it said it was garbage. So I don't know who the heck watched this movie that liked it, but
I couldn't have imagined a Venom movie standing out on its own. To me, that just is crazy.
What's crazy though is even though it reviewed horribly, it made a crap ton of money, and so they're making a sequel, Venom 2. It's going to be directed by Andy Serkis. It's like, okay, cool. But anyways, with this new MCU news, people are like, okay, is he going to start showing up in Venom 2? Is he going to be in some of these other like bad guy movies, like The Living Vampire, which is going to be starring Jared Leto, stuff like that. So
essentially, you're saying that Sony will retain the rights to the Spider-Man character.
They own Spider-Man.
Right.
Like Marvel owns no part of Spider-Man.
They were loaning the character out. Right. But Tom Holland would stay attached as Spider-Man, presumably, with the Sony deal.
The last I read, which I don't know if it was this article or another article, I was reading something, maybe I just saw it on Twitter. Tom Holland apparently is still like technically, he's still 100% in with working. Like he likes being Spider-Man. He wants to keep doing it. It just won't be an
Of course he knows he's making money.
It just won't be an MCU thing. It won't be connected to Marvel in any way.
I'm devastated by the news of this, and I know there a lot of people have been flipping out about this. This has been big news this week.
Especially since he was kind of like, he's basically kind of set up to become the next kind of, I feel like he's set up to become the next Iron Man, essentially, the next like Captain America. Like, I don't know, the next like big guy.
It's hard for us to say because we never went to go see Far From Home.
This is not based off of that movie. This is based off of Infinity War and Endgame, though. Like, I feel like based off of those two movies, it basically sets him up to be, he's like the next big, because he's young and he's still around.
And I got to say, I know how you feel about Homecoming. That movie was incredible and did such a great job. And his portrayal as Spider-Man in the last few movies have been the best Spider-Man yet. So I know Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man and did the 3 movies. Good. Of course, the third one crapped out.
They were all
early
crap.
2000s.
They were all terrible.
Well,
all 3 of those were garbage.
Part 3 really got some hate,
that was the worst.
That was like 2003 or somewhere in there. And then
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield was the guy who took over as the Amazing Spider-Man, and he had 2 movies out of that. I didn't watch. I think I watched one of those. I don't really remember.
I enjoyed the first one. I don't know. I enjoyed both of them. They weren't good though. They were better than Tobey Maguire movies. That was his name, right? I don't know why. It just
was Tobey Maguire.
Okay,
and
that just sounded
Garfield.
really weird to me. That sounded like a cartoon character or something.
He was kind of a cartoon character.
Yeah, basically. No, and the Andrew Garfield movies, I was like, oh, I enjoy these, but they weren't good either. But yeah, so Tom Holland's been definitely the best Spider-Man, and I think that has a lot to do with Marvel being involved. One of the other reasons that Sony tweeted out about the reasons they are upset with the deal, the whole 50, because not only will they be losing out on money, but there's also talks that Kevin Feige won't be overseeing future Spider-Man movies because he has so much on his plate with other movies and stuff. And so that was part of the deal. It's like, no, we want to keep our deal and we need Kevin Feige in here working on these movies. Like if he's not there in person, like we don't want anything to do with this, which is kind of sad. Like they're just so like they're kind of being a little stubborn. But on the other hand, I know a lot of people are hating on Sony right now. Like, why are you being a bunch of jerks? Like, just do it. On the other hand, Marvel is still making money hand over fist. They don't need the money. Like, why can't Disney just be like, okay, yeah, let's stick with the original deal. We're cool. Because I read somewhere else that even though Disney wasn't making as much off the gross of the film, they had the rights to all the merchandise. So that's like shirts and action figures and toys and all this stuff.
And that's where the real money is. That's
they're making
quietly not being talked about. But that's where the real money is.
So it's just like, come on, Disney, like you don't need the extra money. Like you can back off a little bit. Like you're still making money hand over fist. You may not be making money off of Spider-Man specifically, but like Endgame still made so much money. And I mean, it's number one, number one highest grossing film.
Now I got a silly question because I honestly do not know this. The Into the Spider-Verse movie that we all love so much, the animated film that came out a few months back.
Yeah.
Was that part of the Marvel Studios?
No, that was not connected to Marvel Studios. That was actually 100% a Sony picture, which was extremely well done.
It was extremely well done.
I think that's probably, like, Tom Holland being the best Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse is a very close second, like, for Spider-Man movies.
Absolutely.
Like, it's so stinking incredible. It's on Netflix, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because it's free on there, and it's honestly one of the best animated Spider-Mans, let alone it's the second best to Spider-Man in general. Like, it's so good.
I watched it in the theater with my son, and
it's so good. We saw it in theaters too.
I've watched it since. I've watched it a couple of times since. So we've probably seen it like 3 times, and my kids have seen it a lot more than that. It's such a fun movie. So Sony will be fine as far as what they can do with the Spider-Man character. I would love to see them come to a conclusion.
I hope. That's a
resolution.
That's the thing. Sony could, with their track record, they could totally just crash and burn with the next Spider-Man movie, and then Tom Holland's out, and then what? But
Well, they
we'll have
can
to wait
do a
and
lot
see.
of damage to the character
Yeah,
by putting out a really crappy
That's
film.
what's scary. Like, what are they going to do?
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Alrighty, the next news story we're just going to hit real quick because we're running long, but I feel like this is kind of it came out of nowhere. It's worth talking about here. So, Matrix 4 officially a go with Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Lana Wachowski. This comes exclusive from Variety. So Lana Wachowski is set to write and direct a fourth film in the world of The Matrix, with Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss reprising the roles as Neo and Trinity, respectively. That's pretty much the news. Sources say the film is eyed to begin production at the top of 2020, so beginning of next year. My biggest question is,
The blue pill or the red pill?
Who is asking for this?
Oh, everybody.
Nobody wanted a Matrix 4.
No, nobody.
No, they.
I've never actually seen them.
They're all on Netflix right now.
Are they
need
really?
to watch them. I watched
No, I
through
don't
the
need
first.
to watch them. Okay, so you watched through it. Did you fall asleep?
No, wait. Why? The Matrix movies are like, at least the first one is known to be like one of the best movies.
First one is good.
You've seen it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You said you've never seen the Matrix. I'm
No, I've never seen all of them.
How can you trash talk the Matrix?
No, I've never seen all of them. The first one actually was good.
Piece of like
I saw part of
masterpiece.
part 2, and it was just kind of like, you got everything you needed from part 1.
So yeah, part 1 is by far like the best, but I watched the other two and I really enjoyed them. I like the series. I'm not gonna say 2 and 3 are good. Like they're not great movies, but I enjoy the story. I think it's great. Like I
feel like it got convoluted. Only thing.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely got convoluted. Yeah, no doubt there. But with the way that the third one ends, like it's, at least I thought it was pretty definitive. Like
when did 3 come out? It was in the early 2000s, maybe.
It was 2003.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matrix
It
Revolutions.
wasn't that long. So you were like a baby, like a wee baby when that thing came out.
Matrix 3, I was 10 years old when Matrix 3 came out. I didn't see them then. I think I probably saw that when I was 10. I probably watched the first one and then didn't watch the later ones till, I probably I'll watch them in succession because, when the last one came out, it's probably when I started watching them for the first time. I remember the first time watching them. My parents, we were over at someone's house. I think it was the guy who co-owned us. My dad owned a remodeling business, like home
I just heard
remodeling stuff.
The guy co-owned your dad. That's what I heard.
No, my dad had a remodeling and repair business for homes and stuff like that. And he co-owned it with some guy. And we were over at their house for dinner, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to watch The Matrix?" And we're just like, "Yeah, sure." I think my parents were like, I think they had seen it, and like, "Oh yeah, that should be okay," or whatever. And we watched it there. That's the first time I saw The Matrix, was at some random people's house because it was boring sitting at the adult table, talking about business stuff.
Garrett, it's still boring sitting at the adult table.
But yeah, Matrix 4. Who needs it? We didn't need it.
You're gonna get a hate tweet, right? That's my favorite film series of all time.
No, I'm not gonna but like I said, like the third one, I felt like ended. Maybe I need to rewatch it. As I
recall, in the Matrix 3, I think he was in a bus and they were trying to not go below 55 miles per hour. I think that's what it was. The bus was going around in a circle a bunch, and there was a guy with a bomb, and if they went under 55, it would blow the bus up.
I don't remember that part. Wait, you said you never watched those movies. Wait a second.
No, that's actually Speed.
Okay.
The movie Speed with Keanu Reeves. But I knew Keanu Reeves was in it. They could have just put Matrix on there and made that Matrix 4.
Right. Alrighty, guys. Let's get into the new releases. So the only video game of note that's coming out this past week is World of Warcraft Classic for PC, August 27th.
Yay!
As much as our Patreon producer Matt Liu wants me to play, I will probably not be playing it. I don't want to spend $15 a month to play it for like a week and then forget about it and forget to turn off the auto renew, and then the next thing you know, I've paid hundreds of dollars for it. No, I enjoy World of Warcraft, but I just don't have the time in my life to sink into it anymore. Like that's a game where I feel like if you're married and have a kid, it's not playable. Like it's impossible. There's no way. Like you need.
Does it take that much time?
Oh yeah, no. You have to spend like your entire life. Like I don't even know how you do it with a full-time job. Like you'd basically have to be unmarried and maybe working a part-time job, maybe no job. Like I don't know how people play World of Warcraft with a job.
I wish I could tell you about the many people that I know that don't have jobs, that I go to their homes, and when they find out that I'm a gamer, honestly, you can ask Bill Bird about this, them going, oh my gosh, come here and check out my setup, and having like elaborate gaming chair setups with their PC engines, playing World of Warcraft. They call it WoW, and like they'll show me like this crazy characters that they created, and how like, you know, the thing is that she's beautiful and she's sexy, but at the same time she's like really powerful warlock. She's very good at like casting spells, and like her. I mean, dude, honestly, we were like, oh, this guy's never been out of the house before. You know, you open up a curtain, he's like. Like a vampire.
Jeez. Yeah, so that comes out this week. So look forward to a lot more of those guys. It was funny. Well, actually, I guess it came out today as a recording because it's supposed to come out the 27th, but they released it early. It came out today at like 3 o'clock. So Matt sent he sent a text earlier like, hey, you're going to jump on or whatever last night or something. And then I saw some pictures on Instagram of his character and stuff. He's playing a little gnome. I think it's a gnome warlock or something. I'm like, cool. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool there.
That's pretty cool.
Patreon producer. And then other new releases. This is kind of unconventional. Or actually, we used to talk about movies back in the day, but we stopped because there's not enough movies. It wasn't worth it. But so new release trailers. Bond 25 trailer. Go look that up.
Bond 25 trailer was
basically,
awesome.
So all it is like it's like a 5-second like little like all it is Daniel Craig walking out and it reveals the title. So it's not really a trailer. It's literally like 5 seconds long.
Dude, it was enough to like warrant like, okay, dude, Daniel Craig, right on.
Yeah. And the music's great. The style of like the title is like spot on. Like, oh, I'm excited to see this movie. I'm really stoked. I love Casino Royale. Like that's top Bond for me. Skyfall I thought was great.
Have you seen the Sean Connery Bond movies? I realize they're really old.
So I've seen bits and pieces of them. It's one of those things. My aunt actually had a huge, I forget if it was a DVD set or the VHS set of all the Bond movies. Like I remember the thing was like this big. Like it was a huge...
As big as his hands are showing right now, because this is audio. He's holding his hands out, I'm pretty sure, large enough to be VHSs.
Yeah, I think it was VHS. Well, there's a lot of special features. That's the other cool thing. It was like it came with a bunch of special features stuff. But it was like, and I mean, this is back in the early 2000s. So at that point, I don't know how many movies was actually out at that point. But yeah, so I remember like random ones here and there, clips and stuff, because she loved James Bond and all that. But I don't think I've ever watched one all the way through. Like at least the older classic ones, to be honest, which I know like you're like, oh, so you say Daniel Craig's your favorite, but you've never really watched the other ones.
Well,
but I watched some of them.
Some of them, but you have failed to watch Sean Connery. He's the best. He's literally the best. But
Daniel Craig's pretty good.
He's blonde. It doesn't count.
You need to watch Casino Royale and you'll change your mind. So go check out that Bond 25 teaser. Star Wars for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. They put out a new little trailer teaser thing from at the D23 Expo. Dude, we finished watching that. And JJ is like not even super into Star Wars, and I was like,
"No, not that's an understatement. I am not into Star Wars at all."
And we both looked at each other, and I was like, "Did that give you chills like it just gave me?"
And totally JJ
was like, "Yeah." Like we both had like goosebumps watching.
It was amazing. Like, how can you not be pumped for it? And
so
even
good.
as not a guy who's ever seen all of the Star Wars movies, I looked at it and I was like, "Oh my gosh, can't wait to watch this."
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
It was awesome. So go check out that trailer. And then the third one, D23 happened this last weekend, as I said. they released a few trailers for like Lady and the Tramp. They released a trailer for the new Jeff Goldblum travel show, a Christmas movie with Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick, and then the one I'm excited for, The Mandalorian. They came out with a trailer for that, and that one, like the music in it, I'm like, I'm so pumped right now. Like this is like, I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm super in.
It looks amazing.
I can't wait for November 12th when the show comes out. Like it comes out, it's supposed to be day and date with Disney Plus when that comes out. So I'm going to binge watch that for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to sign up. The whole thing at D23 with the Disney Plus stuff makes me so excited for Disney Plus. I think it's going to be a cool service.
Yeah.
I love how they're trying to cut Netflix's throat right out the gate, with their low price.
Yeah.
And also one thing that they brought up was that you'll be able to stream 4 different devices at the same time.
Unlimited devices.
Oh, I thought it was 4.
There's unlimited devices at 4K video.
Oh my goodness, that's even
with
better.
With Netflix, if you want unlimited with 4K, you have to pay like $16-17 a month, which is unfortunately what I'm currently paying, which I've talked to Tree the other day. I was like, we need to cancel this thing. Like we haven't touched Netflix in so long.
But you really don't need it as high as the level as you have. You can probably get away with doing $8 on one screen.
The reason we have it is because that's the only way to get to 4K. And I have a 4K TV.
But Netflix you can watch things at a lower res. Netflix has some fantastic original content that you'd be missing out on. Like Stranger Things that you love so much.
They're not we're coming out with another season of that.
You told me that they were going to come out with that.
I don't know. We'll see.
They'll come out with other things to replace it. It'll be just.
But
good.
see, with Netflix, I think Netflix is going to be the thing for us at this point. That when something cool comes out, then we'll pay for like 1 month. But there's no sense like we've paid for it, other than Stranger Things. I can't think of anything else we've watched on it since the last year, honestly. Other than like watching reruns of Friends and New Girl. And The Office, which The Office and Friends are leaving soon, and I think New Girl is on Hulu as well, and we already have Hulu, so we might as well just get rid of Netflix. So I forgot what we were even talking about. Why were we talking about Netflix? Oh, Disney Plus.
We're talking about Disney Plus.
So Disney Plus is going to be awesome. I can't wait. What's up, guys? This episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Podcoin. Do you like to listen to Super Gamer Boys? Well, the Podcoin app pays you to listen to this podcast and every other podcast out there. It's the podcast player that pays. Just get the Podcoin app on your iPhone or Android device. It's free, it's super easy to use, and you can use the Podcoin app to earn Podcoin to claim gift cards or donate to charity. It's amazing how it works, and it turns your podcast listening into charity. Or if you just want to get some Amazon or Starbucks gift cards, it's pretty great. I use it every day now, listening to all of my favorite podcasts, even my own, to rack up those pod coins. I'm getting pretty close to getting my own rewards now. I love it, and it's super easy to use. You can get it from the App Store or the Android Store today. Seriously, just go get the Podcoin app, and if you use our invite code, GamerBoys, you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up if you use my code. That's 300 Podcoin just for signing up if you use our code, GamerBoys. It's GamerBoys. Go give the Podcoin app a try. Remember, it's a podcast player that pays. All right. What you playing?
I didn't play anything this week.
Oh, cool. That's good because we're running long.
Isn't that great? Not one thing. I didn't even get to play any mobile games.
Dang.
What did you play this week?
I played a lot. So I'm not going to go super...
I'm going to take up all the time.
I'm not going to go super in depth on these things. I'm just going to touch on some. There's only one thing I'm going to talk about a lot, but I randomly, actually this happened a couple weeks ago, but I forgot to talk about it last week. 2 weeks ago when I was editing the podcast, I'm like, you know what? While this is exporting, I'm just going to randomly jump into League of Legends on PC. I was like, I haven't touched this game in like a year. Like it had been a long time. I was like, it's probably going to take about like 30 minutes to update, and then maybe we'll see what's going on. So I clicked on it, updated it, And just as I updated it and logged in, my buddy Keith Duncan, I don't know if he listened to the podcast, but he joined our Discord because that's how we did the voice chat. We did it through the Discord on our Super Gamer Boys. And he happened to just be finishing up a game. And he's like, hey, you want to play? I'm like, heck yeah. Sign me up. I was like, I haven't played in a year. I'm really rusty. I don't remember half the controls, but let's do this. And with that game, it's a game that changes like every couple months. There's something new they add or take away from it. So I'm like, this is a completely different game than I remember playing a year ago. But it was a lot of fun, just like catching up with, a friend I haven't seen in a little bit, talked to in a little bit, and then playing a game that I spent a lot of time and a lot of money on back in the day. So it's kind of fun to get back into that. I've gotten really into the Xbox Game Pass on PC. I've had it already because I did the deal for like $2 or $5, whatever, for like 3-4 months, whatever it was. And so I jumped in the other night. I'm like, oh, they've added a lot of cool new games. So I've started downloading. I actually pre-installed Gears of War 5, which that comes out in a couple weeks. So when that finally goes live, I'll be able to play it like as soon as it's ready, which is cool. Like I'll get that for free. Essentially, I'll be able to play Gears 5. And
you said you paid like $5 on it?
It was like an entry thing. Like, hey, like because we're just launching this, like, hey, for new people signing up, you can get the PC Game Pass for like this just for the first 3 or 4 months, or whatever it was.
But you're going to miss out on that, and they're going to start charging you $20 a month. You're going to be getting hammered.
If I forget to cancel it, it is only like, I think it's like $10 or something. So it's not terrible, but I don't know. We'll see how long I actually keep it. But then, yeah, so I pre-installed that. I also installed Space Hulk Tactics, it's a video game based off of the Warhammer 40,000 like board game that I'm super into. Like they make a bunch of video games. Like back in the day, they had a really cool strategy game, like similar to Age of Empires. They had a first-person shooter game, which was like you were a space marine, you went around and like fought stuff. But this one is like a tactic style game where it's a grid setup and you have to like work your way. It's kind of like a strategy game where you're working your way through like these maps, fighting off like aliens and stuff like that. And it was just so much fun. Not only because I enjoy that, like those characters in that world and those creatures and stuff, because I love the board game, but also it was actually a lot of fun, like just puzzle game, like to go through and figure out like, okay, like I'm gonna have to sacrifice that guy, and then I'm gonna use this guy to kill that alien and all this stuff, and it was a lot of fun.
So I'm actually really interested in the next one on your list because I really wanted to play this. This looked like a lot of fun.
So Prey? Is that what you're talking about? Okay,
yes.
So yeah, Prey is on Game Pass. I downloaded that just last night. I played they did like a 2-hour demo or something back in the day on PS4. I think it's still available, so you could download it.
That's what I just downloaded Prey on for the demo. So that's why I was looking forward to playing.
So that's all I had played through before. Last night I only got through I only played for like 30 minutes or something, but I'm excited to keep going with Prey because I've heard really good things about it from some of my friends who are like, it's actually like a really it was an underrated game.
Is it similar gameplay to like Alien Isolation type of?
No.
Where are you alone on a spacecraft?
So far from what I've played, you're alone. But as far as I don't think it's something where like in Alien Isolation you have the alien chasing you. I don't think it's anything like that. But yeah, I'm excited to keep going with that and get further into it. The one thing I did really want to talk about, this is the main thing I want to talk about in the What You Playing. So this last weekend, happened from Thursday to Sunday, 4 days. It's supposed to just be Friday to Sunday, and then they're like, hey, surprise, we're launching it Thursday. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2v2 alpha test. So they did an online test. It was just the multiplayer mode from the new Call of Duty game that's coming out in October. And I downloaded that and played quite a bit this weekend. And man, the last Call of Duty game I actually enjoyed was Black Ops. And even then, I never liked Call of Duty for the multiplayer because I suck at multiplayer. As you all know, that's why I like Sony, because I'm a single player dude. I've always been terrible at multiplayer, could not care less. Always loved the stories, though, basically from Black Ops and earlier. After that, the story got too convoluted with it's all like space stuff and fighting. It felt more like Halo than Call of Duty. Anyways, this was such an awesome return to form. I'm like, dude, like not only is like the aesthetic, because it takes place like in modern day, but that multiplayer was so much fun. It's 2v2, and this is just one of the multiplayer game modes. They're going to have more, but it's 2v2. And the way it worked is like these little tiny maps, and you had like a minute or 2 minutes to kill the other two people. And if you didn't beat them within that 2 minutes, all of a sudden another timer, it went into overtime, and it was like a 30-second overtime, and then it was just like capture the flag. Like you have to just whoever gets the flag first. So what that did is it forced everyone together. So if you were like taking your time, 2 minutes is up, all of a sudden it's like, okay, you have 30 seconds, and whoever gets the flag first wins. And so you're all sprinting towards the middle of the map trying to get this flag. That rarely happened. Usually within the first 2 minutes, everyone's dead. And there's two different modes. One of them, I don't know what exactly the difference was. From what I can tell, one mode was you get random gear sets, so you never know what guns you're going to get. Like you just automatically are thrown guns. The other one, you start with no guns. You just have your bare hands, and then the guns are scattered around the map. And you have to go like pick them up and stuff. And man, I had such a blast. I'm like, I was already sold on the new Call of Duty just for the story from what I've heard. And now I'm like, oh, I'm in because this multiplayer is killer. Like I could play this 2v2 forever. Which is rare. Like I'm not a multiplayer guy, but I fell in love with this over the weekend, and I'm sad I can't play it anymore until October.
So I'm kind of worried about you. I'm kind of concerned, and I want to say it, and I'm going to say it right here on the air. You played a lot of video games this week. Did Trudy and Shep leave you? Did they leave? They're like, whoa, what's going on? Garrett, share with me if there's something wrong, man. You can lean on me when you're not strong.
Yeah,
you played a lot of video games, man. What the heck's going on?
So I just had is this one of those weeks where I was at night, we put Shep down to bed, and we didn't have any shows to watch.
We don't have any relationships to have to do. Let's play video games. Oh, you don't really like to play video? You want to watch me play video games?
No, that's not what happened. No, it's just like one of those things, like we didn't have shows to watch or anything. And so it's like, Trudy's been reading a book, and she's like, oh, let's go read and you can do your thing. I'm like, okay, sounds good. Like, and most, to be honest, most of this stuff happened all in one day pretty much. It was like all Sunday night or something.
That makes sense. That's normally how my video game goes.
It was all last
too.
night. Everything happened last night, basically.
Oh, wow.
So it was one of those things where I tried this. Well, Call of Duty I tried a couple times, but the other Game Pass stuff all happened last night.
It's got to be said, Trudy Morlang, you are a mensch. You are an amazing woman and an awesome wife. It's just, dude, you're so lucky.
I am more than lucky.
Do you get any points when I say nice stuff about your wife?
I don't know. She doesn't listen to the show
often. Oh, never mind.
Often. Sometimes she does. She surprises me. Like, listen to your show. I'm like, what did I say?
Or what did JJ say?
What did JJ say? Alrighty, guys. This is that's enough of a show for you guys. How about that?
We gave you a lot.
We'll save this question. This is just like old times. We got to cut out that question of the show.
Push it off to next week.
I just want to thank you guys all for listening so much. We are so thankful for each and every one of you. All the downloads we've been getting have been just amazing. I was telling JJ last week, there's one day, I was like, we got, this is how many downloads we got in one day. And he's like, what? Is that even possible? Is that an error? Was that a glitch?
And we're like, good for glitches. Right on.
Right. Yeah. So your guys' support is amazing. So thankful for all of you guys. We are even more doubly thankful for all you Patreon supporters. Every one of you who go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us there. You guys are what really makes everything happen here. You guys are right on the forefront of this battle of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are on the front lines there, battling it out, keeping us relevant. So
yes,
thanks for that. If you have a minute, go rate and review us over on iTunes. Also, if you download us there, that would be cool because that helps us move up in the charts. Between reviews and downloads, that's what helps us out.
Not long ago, we were above in some charts over cereal.
That was on the Podcoin charts. That wasn't iTunes.
You don't have to say which. You just say it, and it sounds good.
The reason I wanted to do a little caveat because I was going to tell
look at you, big word. Nice.
A little story here. Earlier today, I was looking at, I was able to see the chart histories on iTunes, see what happened earlier this month. And apparently, August 12th or 13th, or I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago, we were number 145 on iTunes podcast, which out of the hundreds and thousands of podcasts that are on iTunes, I'm like, what the heck? How did we show up on 145 under
That's amazing
for video game podcast? I'm like, that's awesome.
Now at that point, was it 145 in video game podcasts or just 145 of all podcasts? They just changed how their categories work. So it was in the leisure category, the video game category, however that works. So not overall, obviously, but still, there's still thousands and thousands and thousands of video game podcasts, and we were 145. So that's absolutely amazing.
I was like, so if you guys can go do that again, just even if you don't listen to it on iTunes, just download it there. It helps us get on the charts. And what happens is people see us on the charts. They're like, oh, that must be a good show. I guess I'm going to give it a listen.
Then they listen and they find out that it's not, and they stop listening.
And at that point, it's too late. They've already given us a download. Joke's on you. If you want to find us throughout the week, first and foremost, go to supergamerboys.com/Discord. You can chat with us throughout the week. That's always fun.
Or you can go to our houses because that's where we live.
No, let's not do that.
What? Garrett's address is...
Stop. No. Supergamerboys.com. You can find out where else to view and listen to our podcast. Twitter and Instagram @SuperGamerBoys. Facebook.com/SuperGamerBoys. I'm on Twitter @GMorlang.
I'm on Twitter @JJPurdom.
Thank you so much to Star Andrews for our logo. Check her out on Instagram @GroundFloorGraphics. Facebook.com/GroundFloorGraphics.
Thank you, Garrett. You did such a great job this week. And apparently, Trudy and Shep left you. You got to play a bunch of video games. If you need a couch to crash on, bro, I have a 2-seat love seat. You're more than welcome.
Oh, well, thanks.
We've got the dog blanket, and I'll even throw it through the washing machine. Unfortunately, the heat is broken, so it doesn't have hot water right now. Okay. So, it might still smell like dog once it's all washed and stuff like that. I'm just saying.
Isn't that the worst when, a dog gets all over something, no matter how much you wash it? It could be, one contact.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, I had, a hoodie or something. I, touched a dog once. And it just must have been an especially stinky dog, and that smell never left it. No matter how much you wash that sucker, I'm like, what the heck? Gotta throw this dang hoodie away.
And on that note, you've been listening to the Super Gamer Boys. I'm JJ, and he's Garrett.
And we'll catch you on the Flippity Flop.